Hello students, I am Prem Kalra, your biology teacher. Today we start chapter 7 of class 10th, Control and Coordination, part 1. The main topics are receptors, neuron, reflex section, reflex arc, structure of brain, spinal cord and part of nervous system. Control and coordination. In living organism, a system of control and coordination is essential to maintain all body functions. It also maintains homeostasis in body. Homeos mean steady. Steadies mean stage. To maintain the constant stage in body. Control is the power of regulation in which anything slow down, speed or may be stopped. Coordination, harmoniously working of body parts together is called coordination. What is movement? Movement is the response of organism to change in surrounding environment. Movements. There are different type of movements by living organism. Some movements are connected with the growth of organism. For example, seed germination. Some movements are not related to growth, are called non-growth movements. First, cat is running, buffalo chewing cud, children are playing on swings are the example of non-growth movements. In this diagram we see seed is germinating and seedling, the growth of seedling is shown are growth movement. Cat is running behind the rat is non-growth movement. Cattle chewing the cud is also non-growth movements. Children's playing on swings are also non-growth movements. All type of movement show response the environment surround them. According to environment, they change their response. The movement depends on the environment triggering it. Therefore, organism must recognize which type of movement is and which type of response is needed by organism. For this, multicellular organisms have the specialized tissue and organ for control and coordination. For example, classroom in the presence of teacher. In the presence of teacher in a class, we do our work sincerely, do not make any noise and maintain discipline in classroom. In the absence of teacher in a classroom, here we create lot of noise, indiscipline in a classroom. So the movement here depends upon environment which is triggering to them. In the presence of teacher, the movement is different. In the absence of teacher, the movements are different. Nervous system in animals. In higher organism, control and coordination are provided by nervous tissues or muscular tissues. There are different type of receptors present in our body. These receptors help to detect changes in the environment and maintain the balance for organisms. They are present in different sensory organs. The different type of receptors are, some are help to vision and hearing, Some are help to detect smell and taste. Some are help to maintain pain and pressure, and some are touch receptors. Receptors in skin. The receptors which are present in skin are called cutaneous receptors. Receptors in the nose. Those receptors which are present in nose are called olfactory receptors. Receptors in the tongue. Receptors which are present over tongue to detect the taste are called gustatoreceptors. Receptors in the ear. The receptors which are present in inner ear to hearing the particular sound is called auditory receptors. Structure of neuron. Neuron is the structural and functional unit of nervous system. It is the longest cells in our body, which is in 90 centimeter or 1 meter long. A typical neuron divided in three parts. One is cell body, second one is dendrite, third one is axon. Cell body is the main part of neuron. It may be oval, spherical, star shape or different shapes. It contains a particular nucleus and different type of cell organelles except centriole. The centrioles are absent in neuron, so they cannot divide or repair in further life. Neuron contain neurofibril and Nissl granules. Second part is dendrite. Dendrites are small branch processes which receive a particular stimulus and transport to the cell body. They also contain neurofibril and Nissl granules. Axon. It is the longest single part of a neuron is called axon. At the end, it shows terminal branching or axon terminal. The liquid present in axon is called axoplasm. The membrane surround is called axolemma. Neuron also show neurofibril. A lipid layer surround the neuron is called myelin sheath. The neuron which have myelin sheath are myelinated neuron, other are non-myelinated neurons. The gap present between the myelin sheath is called node of Ranvier. Myelinated neurons are much faster than non-myelinated neuron. The bundle of neuron is called nerves. Types of nerves. First, there are the two types of neurons. One is sensory neuron or afferent neuron. Second one is motor neuron or efferent neuron. Bundle of neuron or nerve fiber is called nerve. So, the bundle of sensory neuron is called sensory nerve and bundle of motor neuron is called motor nerve. First we study sensory nerve. Sensory nerves are bundle of sensory neuron, but the motor nerves are bundle of motor neuron only. Sensory neuron carry the impulses from receptor to central nervous system, brain or spinal cord, and motor neuron carry the message from central nervous system, brain or spinal cord to different part of the body. Now, impulse. It is self-generated electrical current travels along the neuron for passing a particular information is called nerve impulse. The path of nerve impulse is dendrite to cell body and cell body to axon fiber. At the end of the axon, it transports its message to next neuron by the help of synapse. Synapse. It is the junction between the axon of one neuron with the dendrite of another neuron. The membrane of axon neuron is called presynaptic membrane. The membrane of dendrite of next neuron is called postsynaptic membrane. The gap between two is called synaptic cleft. The number of vesicles which are present in axon of first neuron are called synaptic vesicle. They contain a chemical substance which is called neurotransmitter. And some receptors are present on dendrite of another neuron is called chemoreceptor. Conduction of the nerve impulse. In this diagram, we find that how the impulse travels from first neuron to the next neuron with the help of neurotransmitter in a synapse. In conduction of nerve impulse, we find that first the information is received by receptor present in different part of body. These receptor transport this impulse to the sensory neuron. Sensory neuron carry this impulse as electrochemically toward the cell body. From cell body, it travels to the next part, axon. At the axon ending, there is a joint between the next neuron's dendrite is called synapse. In this synapse, the synaptic vesicles are present in axon terminal, release their chemical substance into synaptic cleft area, which is travel to chemoreceptor side of next dendrite of next neuron. Here new impulse is generated which travel to the next neuron. In this diagram, we study that when the impulse reaches to the presynaptic membrane or axon ending, the neurotransmitter is released in the synaptic cleft area, which is bind with the chemoreceptor site and stimulate the membrane of dendrite region in that postsynaptic membrane, and new impulse is generated which travel to the next neuron. Reflex action. Reflex action is the spontaneous, autonomic, mechanical response without the will of animal against the stimulus which are harmful. Reflex action mainly controlled by the spinal cord. Some examples of reflex actions are closing of the eyes when strong light flash on our eyes, knee jerk action, withdrawal of hand when pricked by a spine, needle or pin. Choking stimulate the cuff reflexes. Withdrawal of the hand or leg when touches the hot object. Woman knitting a sweater while watching TV or different work is called conditional reflex action. Here we saw the example of reflex action diagrammatically. First we saw the reflex action when any needle or spine being pricked. Second, any object being hit to our body part, knee jerk action, and hot flame touches our body parts. How does our body design solve this problem? There are some harmful situations where immediate response is required. The processing or thinking of the brain is never involved in this process because the delay in processing may cause harm to the body functions. So in these harmful situations, immediate and fast response is required. So here the processing is not involved in reflex action. The path traveled in reflex action is called reflex arc, or the path traveled from receptor to effector is also called reflex arc. Here we saw some harmful situations. Immediate response is required in the environment with the help of reflex action. Here, thinking and processing is not involved in this process. Next question in our mind is, the reflex action is only the function of spinal cord? The answer is no. Brain also controls some reflex action. The reflex actions from eyes, nose, tongue, or maybe coughing are controlled by the brain. These are called cerebral reflexes. The other reflex action below the neck are controlled by the spinal cord are called spinal reflexes, where thinking is not involved. Here we see in this diagram, when a hot object touches with our hand, the receptors present in our skin receive a particular stimulus and create a impulse. This impulse carried by sensory neuron toward the central nervous system, in this case which is spinal cord. Here the sensory neuron transport its message to the motor neuron with the help of interneuron. Motor neuron carry this message to the muscles of our hand called effectors. Our hand muscle contract and response is created. We immediately remove our hand from this object. This is the example of reflex action, and path travel in this reflex action is called reflex arc. Advantages of reflex action. First, it enables the body to give quickest and fast response against harmful stimulation. So, it protects our body from these situations. It minimizes the workload of brain, help to control and coordinate the body according to their environment. It efficiently functioning in the absence of through different processes. Here we see our nervous system is divided into three parts in some books. First is central nervous system, second one is peripheral nervous system, third one is autonomic nervous system. Central nervous system contains brain and spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system contain cranial and spinal nerves. Autonomic nervous system contain sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Human nervous system is divided into two parts. One is central nervous system, second one is peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system contain two parts which are brain and spinal cord present in central axis of our body. Peripheral nervous system further divided into two parts. One is voluntary nervous system, second one is involuntary nervous system. Voluntary nervous system again divided into two parts. The neurons which are controlled by the brain are called cranial nerves, and neurons which are controlled by the spinal cord are spinal nerves. In involuntary nervous system, there are again two types. One is sympathetic and other one is parasympathetic nervous system. Here we first study the central nervous system. The first part is brain. Functions of the central nervous system. Central nervous system control the various body parts. It also control the different body parts work together in a coordinated manner. They receive the stimulation from different body parts and integrate it, then create response. It also controls the reflex actions. It also controls the inner part of body to make their function perfectly. Protection of brain. Here we see brain is concave structure covered by hard bony structure called brain box or cranium. Inside the brain box, a fluid-filled liquid is present which is called cerebrospinal fluid, which provide the shock absorption for brain. Here we see the brain also protected by some additional membranes. These membranes are dura mater, arachnoid and pia mater. The membrane which touches the skull is called dura mater. The membrane which touches the brain is called pia mater. The middle membrane is called arachnoid. Together these are called meninges. Structure of the brain. Human brain has three regions. One is forebrain, second one is midbrain, and third one is hindbrain. Here we see in this flow diagram, brain is divided into three parts: forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. Forebrain is further divided into cranium, thalamus, and hypothalamus part. Midbrain is again divided cerebellum and corpora quadrigemina. Hindbrain is divided into pons varolii. In some books we find that forebrain is divided into olfactory lobe, cerebrum, and diencephalon. Midbrain is divided into corpora quadrigemina and cerebral peduncle. And hindbrain is divided into three parts. First is pons varolii, second is cerebellum, third one is medulla oblongata. Forebrain. It has first part cerebrum, second is hypothalamus. Cerebrum is the main thinking part of brain. It covers approximately 80% of the central nervous system part. It is the region which receives the sensory impulses from different receptors. It also contains number of specialized areas for hearing, smell, sight and learning. These areas where the sensory information is arrived and here the information is processed and transferred to the motor area from where motor neuron travel these information to different part of body. As we learnt in previous section, cerebrum is the largest part of brain. It is approximately 80% part of central nervous system. The outer part of cerebrum is convex shape and lower part is concave shape. The outer region of the cerebrum is called grey matter and inner region is called white matter. Grey matter mainly composed of cell bodies of neuron, while the white matter contain axon of neuron. There are two cerebral hemispheres are present in human brain, which are joined centrally by corpus callosum, a nerve fiber band. This diagram shows the internal structure of brain. The upper largest portion of brain is called cerebrum, which contains 80% of part. Divided in two parts, outermost region is called cortex and innermost is called medulla. Both cerebral hemispheres are joined by internally corpus callosum, a nerve fiber band. In middle of the brain there is a thalamus portion which help to relay the messages from right to left side. The floor of thalamus is called hypothalamus. Here a gland is present which is called pituitary gland. Midbrain contain the two parts, which one is cerebral peduncle or corpora quadris gemina. Midbrain join the forebrain to the hindbrain part. A elevation present in the hindbrain is called pons varolii. Second largest part of brain is called cerebellum. Two cerebellar hemispheres are present, which are also called small brain, joined internally by a worm-like structure called vermis. Last part of hindbrain is medulla oblongata, which travel to form spinal cord. Here we saw the pons varolii, medulla oblongata and midbrain hold the major part of brain. It is called brain stem. So the PMM yani pons, midbrain or medulla oblongata forms brain stem. Midbrain and hindbrain. A number of actions which are not dependent on our will are called involuntary actions. These are controlled by midbrain and hindbrain. Midbrain contains two parts. One is cerebral peduncle, second one is corpora quadris gemina. Cerebral peduncle join the forebrain to hindbrain. Corpora quadris gemina find the four elevation. Upper two are known as superior quadrigemina. Lower two are known as inferior quadrigemina. Superior control the auditory reflexes and inferior control over body's sight reflexes. Hindbrain contain the three parts. One is pons, second one is cerebellum, third one is medulla oblongata. Pons, in Latin, the pons meaning bridge. It joins the lower part of the central nervous system to upper part of central nervous system. It means it joins the medulla oblongata to higher center cerebellum, cerebrum or midbrain. Second part is cerebellum. It is the second largest part of brain. It contains two cerebral hemispheres. Both hemispheres are joined by a worm-like structure called vermis. Cerebellum are also known as small brain. It helps to maintain our body posture and equilibrium during sudden activity like walking, running, twisting, playing, dancing, etc. The last part of hindbrain is called medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata has the four centers for functioning. One is respiratory center, second one is cardiac center, third one is blood pressure center, and fourth one is reflex action center. Later it forms the spinal cord, travels in our vertebrate column. Components of peripheral nervous system. Our peripheral nervous system divided into two parts. One is cranial nerves, second one is spinal nerve, which is also called voluntary nervous system. Cranial nerves are originated from brain and spinal nerves are originated from spinal cords. Cranial nerves are 12 pair in numbers while the spinal nerves are 31 pair in number. Neuromuscular junction. It is the junction between motor neuron and muscle fiber of our body. It works like as a synapse. When an impulse is arrived at neuromuscular junction, the axon of neuron releases the neurotransmitter which stimulate the muscle fiber membrane and muscle fiber contract to create response. Our peripheral nervous system or involuntary nervous system divided into two parts. One is parasympathetic nervous system, second one is sympathetic nervous system, which are involuntary in action. If the sympathetic nervous system accelerates the function of a body part, then parasympathetic nervous system slow down the function of this body part. So, in some cases, sympathetic nervous system is accelerator and parasympathetic nervous system work as a breaker, but in other cases, parasympathetic nervous system may be accelerator or sympathetic may be breaker. These two nervous systems control our inner body parts or organ without our will, so they are called autonomic nervous system or involuntary nervous system. Bye students.